Hi everybody, and welcome to our June card kits on the go process videos. Today you are watching, you're going to see two projects made with the Varied Vases product. So hopefully you picked this up because it's a great set to have. It's the Varied Vases stamp set. You will need that to put together your images for your card. And then you will have all your punches for the vases, but hopefully you picked up this bundle because it's super cute. The other product I'm going to be using is going to be these markers. These are the N color markers, so they coordinate. So let's get started. The first card we're going to make is going to be this card right here. You're going to have all of your pieces. It's going to look like this. Your card will already be folded and scored for you, but I'm just going to do that right now. This is Whisper White cardstock. I just like to give that a good crease. And then you have another piece of Whisper White cardstock. That's actually going to be a layer, so it's going to be white on white, just like that. So let's work with this piece right here. We can set our card base aside. We're going to start by adding our grapefruit groove. Your polka dots may look a little bit different. They may be a little bit more muted, depending. You can use either side, polka dot or the stripe. We're going to layer this on this card towards the bottom, not quite in the middle, just like that. Then you're going to have a couple pieces we're going to layer, but we want to do the stamping first. So you're going to have these two pieces. These two pieces are going to lay together, but layer together. But let's do our stamping first. So you're going to do all your stamping on this Whisper White piece. So let's grab our stamp set. The first piece you're going to need will be this border piece. You could use the solid border piece if you want. Let's do that. Let's use the solid border piece instead. That's going to save us a little bit of time. And then if you don't have the markers, you won't have to worry about coloring, or you could always use an aqua painter and just use your ink pad to do the coloring. So I'm going to ink this part up here, and then what I like to do is just use my grid mat to make sure this comes out straight. Add that. That will be all for Call Me Clover. Hopefully you got the N color ink pad bundle. That's going to come in handy. So now we have our border right there. So now what you're going to do is you're going to find your vases in your kit here. You should have 3 of them. You'll have one that is in just cardstock, and then you'll have 2 that are in designer paper. You're going to decide what side you want to use. Your pieces, your designs may be going in different directions. This may be up and down, vertical, horizontal. It just depends on how it gets punched. So now what we're going to do is just add our vases here to our card. So this one's going to be popped up. Our cardstock one is going to go right in the middle, and it's going to be popped up. So both of these are going to go on the edge, but what we want to be able to do is stamp our images here. So you will grab your floral images that we're going to use. The first one we're going to use will be this piece right here. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that in basic black, because then we're going to do some coloring. So what I like to do is just lay that piece of paper where my vase is going to be. I'm going to lay that out. I'm going to hover over that, and then I'm going to remove it and then stamp down. This can go flat right on our shelf here, and mine, I'm gonna have to trim this down because I want the flowers to be peeking out there, and that's fine. You can do that. I just wasn't very good at seeing exactly where that was going. That's okay. Okay, so our next one is gonna go here, and the one we're gonna use for that is gonna be the 2 tulips. So what we need from our stamp set is we just need the stem. So you're gonna look in here for just the stem. We're going to do black. I guess you could do green if you wanted. I tend to just do black. So we'll put this right here, and then we'll do another one, and we'll put it right here. We're going to make these pretty tight because this is pretty thin there. This part is pretty thin. So again, we can go ahead and just attach this part because we'll be all done with that. Just like that. Now you're going to bring your piece of square lovely lipstick over, and you'll grab your lovely lipstick ink pad. Out of your stamp set, you're going to grab your little tulips. And then we're going to do some tone-on-tone stamping, which means we're taking the color of the ink and we're stamping that on the same color as the ink, as the cardstock. It's going to give you a tone-on-tone effect. And then you can fussy cut these out if you did not get the punch, but if you got the punch, you're just going to punch these out. Bring your piece back over, and then you can add adhesive to the back of these. You can use glue dots, that works well. I'm just using my tape runner to get these down. And then I want to add one that's sort of lower, so I'm covering up a little bit of that stamped stem. And then I'm going to add one that's a little bit higher, and they're both kind of going in separate directions. Now for this vase here, you can do a couple things. First, I'm going to pop it up. Well, we need to do our stamping. Oh, you know what? On this one, I didn't add any flower to this one. So you totally could. There's several different images in here where you could add a flower, more flowers to this. I think I'm just going to leave it. I think that's okay to do. Let's add one dimensional. Okay, so for this, you're going to grab your markers, and what I did is I used the blue to color in this image. I'm going to use the brush tip so I can add some color like that. You can take a black pen if you want and add some polka dots to your solid vase. There's lots of different things that you can do with the stamp set and the vases and the punch. You just have to get a little creative. You could do white dots. In my other card, I did white dots. I'll show you that. I wanted to be able to show you a variety here. So here's with the black polka dots, and then here's with the white. So that just gives you a little bit of a variety. So now let's bring our card base back over and our pieces back over here. So now for this, what we're going to do is layer this piece down. So we'll go ahead and do that flat. I want to let my ink dry from our stamping and from the polka dots. So I'm just setting that aside to let it dry for a minute. And then while we're waiting, you'll have a little yellow piece. It's going to be a little bit longer than what you need it to be, and that's because we give ourselves a little bit of room. So we're going to use the Hoping. You could use any one you want, but I'm choosing to use Hope Your Day Blooms with Happiness. We'll grab our clear block, and I'm just going to do this in basic black. I want it to really pop against that yellow. So we'll do the basic black, and what I'm going to do is stamp it pretty close to this edge here. Hopefully I'm getting this on straight for you guys. And my black needs to be re-inked, but we're just gonna go ahead and move on with this. So then what I want to do is trim this down. And then I'm gonna flag this end of it. So by just creating a small flag in the end here, just like that. Now our pieces should be dry. So what I want to do is go ahead and attach it to my white card base first. So this part, you can make it to where it's lifted. You can use some dimensionals if you want. I'm going to go real flat with this one. My other one is lifted up, and I'll show you both looks. That way you can get an idea. So we attach that on here. And then our piece that we have stamped on, we'll layer right onto this. I think it looks a little crooked to me, but maybe we're okay. And then this is a great piece to punch up as well. We're just gonna go for everything flat on this one. And then layer that here, just like that. So here's both of them. Now this one is not punched up. I don't know why I keep saying that, but popped up. So we have some dimension here. And then this one was watercolored with the ink pad and a Wink of Stella. So it has a little bit of glitter on there. And then that has the white polka dots. So a little bit different look. You can do either one. Okay, so now let's dive into our second card. The second one we're gonna make is going to look like this. So you're going to grab your pieces and you're gonna have a blueberry bushel card base and it will be folded for you already. I'm gonna give that a nice crease. It's gonna have pretty simple layers. I would suggest putting all of your layers together first here because it's gonna be easier. So we'll grab you can use either side. You can use the polka dot side or the striped side. Since the last card we used the polka dot side, I thought we would use the striped side here on this one. So we have this piece here. We have our card base. We can go ahead and add this to our card base right here, our card. You could pop this piece up as well if you wanted. I know sometimes I like my cards to have a lot of dimension and other times I don't. It's going right on the edge there. Might have needed to go a little bit over, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and do our stamping. For this one, what we're going to grab is this image right here. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before, where I put my vase down and then I went ahead and stamped so that I could see exactly where I wanted it to be. So my vase is going to go down here at the bottom. And so I want those flowers coming out of that vase. And we'll use basic black again. It's going to go right there, so let's move that vase. This one's a little bit easier because it won't matter a whole lot where your flowers go. My black ink pad really needs to be re-inked, you guys. Okay. So now we'll put our vase down. You could emboss this little vase so it had a little bit of a pattern on it if you wanted. We'll put some adhesive there, and then we have this really special paper. This is vellum, and I have just been using quite a bit of vellum recently. I kind of go through phases where I forget about it. So now we can put this right here onto our card. And this is just a 3x4 layer, which a 3x4 layer is a great layer to start out with if you're struggling to make a card. It fits on a card front really easily, and it looks really great, and then it's a really simple layer. So then you're going to have these two, and I'm going to show you something a little bit different than what was on the photo. So for my image here, what I've done is I've cut my stamp set. You don't have to cut it. You can mask it off if you would prefer. I don't mind cutting my stamp sets. So that's what I've done. And what I'm going to do is use a white stamp pad instead of the black. And I think that's going to make it pop a little bit on this blue. So what I'm doing is just taking my white, I'm using a white StazOn. You could use a craft if you wanted. And then here's the next piece. And you can always put these back together. If you're really careful, it's quite easy to cut your photopolymer stamps. So I'm just using that StazOn again. I'm trying to line this up by using my mat. StazOn is really sticky. So I think that that looks really good in the white. And then what we can do is just add our sentiment. I'm, again, doing this really flat. But you could pop. This would be a great piece to pop up. I'm going to line that up. You're going to have a little tiny piece of blue twine. And what you're going to want to do is make a little bow. So you just take this, you make a loop, and then you make another loop, and then you just make it really, really tiny. I'm going to use a mini glue dot to add this bow onto the vase. You stick that little bow piece right on there, and then what I do is I just use an X-Acto knife, and I just kind of smush that glue dot up under the twine, and it works perfect. So I've just placed that on there, and then you're going to want to use either your ink pad, your Pineapple Punch ink pad, or you can use your writer marker, and you're just going to add some color. This one is easy to add color to. You don't have to be real precise. It can look like a little bit of a watercolor type effect. My black ink pad definitely needs to be re-inked. But I'm just kind of dotting some color down here, just like that. And then you have some color on that card. So this one right here has that sentiment in black, and then this one has it in white. And then on this one right here, you can see I've just added a little bit more with the stamp set. I like to add, you can take these floral images here. And you can do some more tone on tone effect. Just grab your blueberry bushel. This, if you did not get the bundle for the ink pad, you may not have this one. So you can do this or not. But you just add some of this right around to the corners. Just like that. I hope you enjoyed seeing these cards. Thank you so much for purchasing our crafty card kits to go. I love the way these turned out. These are the other two. You'll want to watch the videos for both of these from Wendy. So thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys next month in our next card kit to go.